what do you both think are the biggest stories that's not being really paid attention to in the media? You know what's funny is I haven't. This is from Sean Rock. You know, I've been over a lot of progressives, new wave progressives. None of them have TVs. I think, Jordan, you're probably the only progressive that believes in having a television. But I haven't seen it, but I do get a lot of notifications on my phone. And the shooting in Little Rock, to me, seemed like it shouldn't have got, it hasn't received the attention and awareness about.
Tell the audience what you're talking
about. There was a club shooting in Little Rock, I think it was last week. Like 28 people got shot or something like that. Probably even more now. But, you know, because it wasn't a terrorist attack, it's not an issue. We can keep our guns and we can keep making ways for people that don't need guns to get them. We're not doing any. There's so many damn loopholes and you know, gun shows and things like that where you can actually access a gun, and none of that has been brought up. You know, if it was a terror, we would still be talking about that right now. If it was someone that was Muslim or something like that, like it'll still be on our minds. We'll be going through it. We'll be having these visuals, and the country will come together for 2 weeks or whatever, and they'll address the terrorist attack. But when it's just an attack, which is actually domestic terrorism, when it's that, it's nothing being said. And so I think that that's just fucking foolish, because our gun laws, I'm not into taking guns away from people, but I am into better regulations on guns. I think we need to make sure that people are going through the proper background checks. I think the loopholes in gun shows, you honestly shouldn't be able to go into a gun show and sell a gun without having a license. And you actually can as a private collector. What a lot of people do is they go into gun shows as private collectors. And if you go in as a private collector, you can sell your collection without having a license. And that's bullshit. And they'll sell 30 and 40 guns to people, and then those guns then will be trafficked to places like Chicago and things like that. Like if you go to Indiana, Wisconsin, and you go around those surrounding states of Illinois, you'll see where all the guns that's being found in Chicago are not bought in Chicago. Like in Chicago, you can't even legally purchase, you can't legally own a gun store in the city of Chicago. So all these guns are coming from these surrounding states, and it's due to loopholes like that, where, you know, you got people that's just selling, you know, all type of guns because they're private collectors. And I think things like that need to be addressed. Like, you know, we should be able to bear arms, but we need to be more responsible. Yeah, that's how I feel. That's a story that I haven't been seeing much hoopla about.
I actually have three.
Give it to me.
I actually have three. First and foremost, which I think is the most urgent and immediate, is the genocide of African Americans in this country. I don't cover it enough. My part is covering things like Flint and East Chicago because it disproportionately is affecting poor African Americans. However, the bottom line is there is a police terrorism going on in this country towards African Americans. I can't even imagine how many of the murders I don't know about per day. Yeah. Just covering a few Black Lives Matter actions recently up here, I heard so many more names I had no idea had been murdered.
They said every Monday for 2 years they haven't had to repeat a name. It's always been someone else. That's fucking disturbing. That's 52 people a year. I mean, that's just counting that. That's 52 black people a year. People of color, trans people. A kid was just killed in LA a couple weeks ago. The police came out because they said the dog was trying to attack him, and they were shooting at the dog, and they claimed, I need to read up on that story, because they tried to claim that a bullet ricocheted from the ground and hit this kid in the chest, which seems fucking absurd to me. And this is at 3:30 in the morning. I have my own theories about it, but it just seems absurd. And all these accidents always seem to happen with police and people of color.
And we should be clear, Ty and I were actually talking about it yesterday as we were walking. We saw in the newspaper, if you're not familiar, a woman police officer in New York was assassinated essentially 2 days ago. And we were talking about it because, you know, just because I'm a good person, we feel for the police officer because she shouldn't have been assassinated either. But the disproportionate media coverage of a police officer getting assassinated versus an African American, I mean, it's night and day in terms of the coverage and the outcry. no police officer should be killed for no reason, and no black person should be killed for no reason.
Or any person, for that matter.
Two could be true at once. And I will say, at the end of the day, that it's common. Corporate media, they mostly focus on cute missing white girls. When white girls are missing, they focus on it. Not so much when African American people are missing. When a white person shoots up a school or a movie theater or this and that, you get a couple days of coverage. But when an Arab does it, oh my God, we have to go to war. We have to ban people from the country. The disproportionate coverage. So immediately, there needs to be a lot more coverage on all this police brutality. To me, the second thing is, do you see anything every day or every week that we're still at war in Afghanistan? Do you see any coverage of the fact that he just sent more troops over to Afghanistan? Do you see any coverage of the now, I think they just put up that it was 600 innocent civilians have been killed recently I think it was U.S. airstrikes. Do you see any coverage on the PTSD issues, the suicide of U.S. veterans? You know, the reason we keep going to war casually is because we don't actually cover what war is. And you know what? I give Rachel Maddow a lot of grief because I think she's turned into a bit of an establishment shill, but she covered Afghanistan more than most. When you're at war, it should be covered every day in the media. Yeah. It shouldn't just be a passive thing that, all right, if there's a particular bad day and like 10 U.S. soldiers get killed, we cover it. No, you should cover it every day. The final thing that I think isn't getting covered enough, and I think I'm showing you how I feel about it by just doing it, is the disappearing middle class. I know it sounds corny, but the bottom line is, I think the reason you have President Trump as the president, other than the media giving him nonstop attention and coverage, is the fact that corporate media doesn't cover pocketbook issues of the disappearing middle class in Ohio or Michigan or Wisconsin or Pennsylvania or Illinois or Kentucky. I could go on and on.
It's heartbreaking. You go to these cities and you see them. It's hard. Like it's like a third world country. You go to Flint. I mean, we had one guy, he owns damn near a whole block. He owns like 4 houses on his street. And they're worth nothing now because of the lead and everything that's in the ground and in the soil and in the water. I think one was the money bank. What people, the people that take over their homes and things like that.
The land bank.
The land bank. The land bank took over 2 of his homes that he can't even get into. Now it's just worth nothing.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little behind the scenes story so you know how bad it is out there. I've never told anybody this because I don't want credit for it or anything like that. So I went to Iowa a few weeks ago, and in Iowa, I stayed at a water protectors camp for a few days. I was working there too, but I wanted to experience it aside from just covering Standing Rock. I wanted to see what it was about. So I stayed at a water protectors camp, and there was a woman there named T. That's her name. Her name is T, and she was a healer. So there was a tent, and she would do reflexology on people's feet. And, you know, it was good. Like, we talked, and she helped me, massage, all those things. If you touch my shoulder, you'll know I need massage. So T and I were talking one day, and she had said to me, she had told me that she hasn't seen her children in 15 years. And she never met her grandchildren because she hasn't seen her children in 15 years, and her kids had kids. So I said to her, why is that? And she just said, I don't have the money. I can't fly to Florida. I can't even drive to Florida. And I was just so struck by that. The fact that somebody literally hasn't seen her children in 15 years and never met her grandchildren. And if somebody doesn't do anything, she will never meet her grandchildren. So whatever, I took care of it. I got her to Florida. And I didn't want to say anything about it because it's not about me. But the point is, there's people in America that even though they want to work and can work, cannot make enough money literally to go meet their grandchildren or see their children. That's disgusting. That should not be in a country, the richest country in the world. A woman, I believe she was in her 50s, literally on the verge of tears because she hasn't seen her kids in 15 years. And now I look at her Facebook pictures, I think she's still there with them, hanging out with her grandkids, seeing her children, all because, forget me, like maybe somebody else could have done it for her, helped her get there. That's the role of government, to allow people the opportunity to set a fair playing field so people who work hard and don't break the law and do things right can just live. Not even have a nice car and go on bougie vacations, can just live and buy the necessities and have a family. That's what the American deal used to be. So people like T, there's a lot more people like her. I can't help everybody. You know, that was a specific situation.
Personal philanthropist.
I try. But the point is, when I hear of people, good people, that can't even meet their family, that there's something wrong in a country like that. One more question.
2 more.
No, nothing from Jerry Ross.
Nothing.
Jerry, you gotta tell me, Jerry, how much are they paying you, Jerry? How much are they paying you? It's like you literally wake up and set your calendar just based on what I'm doing. I'm flattered, Jerry, but you gotta get a life, dude. And if they are paying you, give me some of that. It's only fair. I mean, you're making your money off of me, Jerry. Show me the money, Jerry.
Hey, it was funny because I knew he was gonna go in. That's why I wanted to read it. That's funny. All right, last one. Ty, how did you hook up with Jordan? You both do great coverage. I hooked up with Jordan through the Young Turks. How I got with the Young Turks, I was working for a production company called Brave New Films. CEO is Robert Greenwald. He's prominent television director back in the 80s, 90s, and I think 80s and 90s. And then he decided to go into documentary work. I received a year fellowship, a paid fellowship with Brave New Films. And so once that expired, Robert took a liking to me, and I think he mentioned my name to Jake, and it kind of happened like that. And then maybe 3 months after I was working, because initially I was working with Nomiki, and after we met in Washington, which he actually pissed me off. I received the email that I wasn't supposed to receive. Well, I was actually in Taylor's email, but it was on my computer, and I thought for some reason I thought he was trying to fuck with me or something, because I guess I was posting a video, because what I do is I do edits and shoot and post videos. So I was posting a video, and I think it had the wrong title, but I didn't put that title. Someone came and changed it. And then, so I saw the email, and I took it the wrong way, and I emailed him back and saw it. Initially,
he's very sensitive, this guy.
I'm a Pisces. I'm definitely sensitive. So initially, I didn't like him. When we first physically met was during the inauguration, and I ain't want to tie him. I'm like, fuck him. And then one time you mentioned you should come work with me, and I think you requested to have me in Dakota. And once we hung out in North Dakota for No Dapple.
I didn't exactly request you, but yeah,
whatever.
It was good.
He probably didn't, so I had to go. But that trip is kind of what we kind of connected there, and then it's been gravy ever since. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm out here visiting my boy, and I work with him, and I like it. It's always good to work with people that you enjoy being around. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's shitty to have to be around an asshole.
Yeah. One more question, because I got to do some work.
I thought we just did the one question. Okay. Why haven't you ever talked about the LNG pipeline in Tacoma, Washington?
Because literally there's a gazillion pipelines all over the country.
That's from Gwen Martin.
Oh, Gwen. Yeah, first I heard about it. If you look in my email inbox, I probably have about 600-700 emails and Facebook messages, and many of them are about pipelines I haven't heard about yet. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's, at this point, you're talking high hundreds to thousands of big and small pipelines going around the country. So I don't know about all of them, but always message me on Facebook and try to get my attention. I don't really have a full-time producer, so I don't see every message, but I try my best.
And don't be discouraged. Continue to send them stories, because this is literally how he get a lot of his stories and find out about things. Like you found out about East Chicago because someone posted it on the feed. So
I'd say like 7 out of 10 of my stories come from viewers.
Yeah.
So, I don't know everything that's going on in the country, so you guys help me to know better. So, thank you for watching. I got to go do a call, and then I'm actually interviewing a state senator today from St. Louis. If you don't know, St. Louis is doing the highly progressive thing of lowering the minimum wage from $10 down to $7.70. Yeah. So they're moving backwards. So I'm going to interview a local politician there about that. we'll try to turn that around, hopefully to get up Sunday or Monday.
And the next time you see him live, all this would be nice.
Yeah, he's gonna trim my beard by popular demand, and
because he looks like a mountain goat right now. So I'm trying to
look at the headline. Make sure you like my fan page so I could get more reporting to you, and follow him on Twitter so he could get.
I think I got like, since we started, I got maybe about 6 followers.
That's not enough.
All right.
You got to follow him. Let's get him up to at least
not greedy.
100 by the weekend. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.
So.